I'm Jess Dakotas.
And I'm Nick Colziel. Welcome to That Sounds Terrifying, the podcast where we share terrifying stories, we share listener experiences, and we visit virtually some of the most haunted places in the United States and the world.
Sip of my pumpkin spice.
Ha! Welcome back, everyone. Jess has pumpkin spice, so it must be spooky season.
Pumpkin spice, pumpkin spice. You know what the problem with spooky season is?
What's it?
It goes too fast. And so
Yes.
I'm trying to like pull all of the fall and spooky in every night, but I
Mm,
feel like I just don't have enough time to watch all the movies that I want to
yeah.
watch and like absorb the creepy and like
Yeah.
the spooky.
This is our
Uh,
Christmas, folks, and it's really hard. Like, I tried turning on Hocus Pocus, and I have a little visitor here today who's like, I don't want to watch this.
mm,
I'm like,
yeah.
all right, fine. We got her to watch Coraline, though, so that's close.
See, Coraline, I saved that for this year for my kids.
Hmm.
And Lana fell asleep like in the very beginning. She
Kidding.
she didn't even see like the
Yeah.
past 2 minutes into the movie. And then I thought it might be too scary for my son, but he was just like, yeah, it wasn't that scary.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like,
lame, Mom.
okay, good.
This is so lame.
I was glad because I was like, well, good, we can watch it again. Like, you're not going to be scared. I thought he'd be scared like when she turns into the spider lady,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
skeleton-y
You
because he's
never
like,
know. You never know with kids. Kids these
yeah,
days.
but he was totally fine. He was like, I don't understand why you thought that was scary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Do you ever go back to like the really old stuff and like you rewatch something that would scared you as a kid and then and
Yes.
watch it again? What is your reaction to like what's an example of that maybe?
Sleeping Beauty. I think of
Okay.
that all the time. You know when like the eyes are in the fireplace and it's got like the
Mhm.
creepy music,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
and then you're like, ah. I had a fireplace in my house growing up and now, but I had a
Mhm.
fireplace behind, it was the fireplace room was behind our living room. And I would always like be really scared to look in the fireplace because I thought I was going to see Maleficent eyes.
Mhm.
And I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then I, watch it as an adult and I'm like, no, that's still scary for a kid. Like that,
Yeah.
you know, that and
Yeah.
Tweedledee Tweedledum and Alice in Wonderland. I still hate those. I hate them. I hate watching them. Mm-mm.
Oh, that's a favorite of mine. Um, yeah, mine was Poltergeist. Like that was one of the like first scary movies that I remember,
One of my
and
favorite movies.
it I watch like things that I was really afraid of during that movie. I rewatched that, and I'm like, I do not know why I was so scared of that. It looks so fake, but that's kind of like we were talking before we went on the air and about like kid lingo lately. 6,
Yeah,
7, and bruh. Yeah, my son's like, bruh, this is so stupid. It's so fake, Dad. It's bro. Come on,
bro.
bro.
How could you be afraid of this, bro?
Afraid of
Um,
this.
but when you're a kid, like, and that was like the epitome of like special effects at the time.
Oh yeah,
And when you're a kid, like everything seems like it could be real, you know?
yeah,
Like your parents are telling you that Santa's real all the time and
yeah.
watching you all the time. And
Wait a second. What?
yeah, oh
Wait, you
yeah.
said Santa's not real,
Santa
Jess?
is not real, Nick. I'm sorry. I know.
Thousands of dreams broken in one
Yeah.
second.
It's been your wife all these years buying presents for your kids and
Wait a
hiding them under the
second.
tree.
That's still legit, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so that's um that's how your brain works as a kid though, right? Like everything could be real. And so like things are just scarier, you don't know how the world works. You're not sure. And yeah,
Speak for
so
yourself, Jess Dakotas.
I just posted something on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, where Carson, we were watching a Halloween bake off, like one of those
Mhm.
Halloween challenges. And like it's a carnival theme this year, just like our show at RMSC
Yes.
on October 18th.
Yes. Shameless plug.
Come see us, buy tickets. They're still
Yeah.
on sale. Today is October 10th. I think you'll listen to this. When are we releasing this?
It's the upcoming week, so it'll be
Okay.
there.
So if you're listening to this in the year of our Lord 2025, on October 18th, we're going to be at the RMSC
Yeah.
telling spooky stories at the Carnival of Curiosities. But um, Carson and I were watching this, and some guy, you know how they get axed at the end of the show, and
Mhm.
one of the guys walks through a clown's mouth, and he goes, you know, Cranky the clown, I'm your first victim, and walks through the thing, and Carson looks at me and he goes, "Did he actually die?" I was like, "No, bud, no," and he was like, "Yeah, I guess that would be illegal." It's like, excuse me.
All his favorite actors and actresses are gone because when they die in the show, that's
I was
it.
like, this is not Squid Games.
We
It
never
was so
see him again.
funny. But sorry, folks, if you're hearing me cough, I'm getting over bronchitis and a sinus infection all in one. So
Yeah.
forgive me. I will try not to cough into the mic, but
Tis
laughing, I
tis
cough.
also this season, Jess,
Tis the
unfortunately.
season. I know. Yeah. And I was telling Nick before we started, my right ear is so plugged. I've never, ever, ever felt like this in my life. Like I've never been sick for 4 weeks on end and
Yeah.
so crazy.
Well, we all hope you get better soon, especially with
Oh,
the upcoming show. We need you in your best.
yeah, and I'm going to Europe. I'm going to
Yeah.
Europe 2 days after the show. Like I want to feel like really good, and I certainly don't want to be on the plane. You know when like the pressure builds in your
Uh-huh.
ears? Oh, it's the freaking worst. That hurts
No,
so bad. It feels like somebody's stabbing you in your ear.
it's another
Uh,
terrifying thing.
it is. It's one of the worst things, truly. Um,
So we
yeah, I
got a
hate
couple
that.
stories today, right?
Oh, do we? I don't know. I thought we were just gonna talk and
It could be Nick and Jess and other
drink my
tangents.
my
That could be the
my
name of the
pumpkin,
podcast now.
drink my pumpkin spice and talk about nothing. Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Journeys with Nick and Jess and other tangents.
So I have a short little story that I can start with. It's a Reddit story.
Great.
Do you want to? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll cue the music.
Cue the music. This is I had a dream about an old fling. And this was a Reddit story on ghost stories from OKBeat3031. I'm a 43-year-old woman, and when I was about 19 or 20, I met this guy. Let's call him Jay. We were more like friends with benefits, but I definitely liked him more than he liked me. He was loud, a little obnoxious, and kind of hard to deal with at times. Still, I liked him. Once I turned 21, we went our separate ways. You know how it is, newly 21, living near a big city, going out with friends, clubbing, meeting new people. I lost touch with Jay completely. From what I remember, he did try to reach out a few times, but I brushed him off. Fast forward about 5 or 6 years later, I had this really vivid dream about him. And in the dream, I was in a parking garage, and Jay was chasing after me, trying to get my attention. I remember turning around and yelling, "No, I didn't like how you treated me." And then I ran off. When I woke up, it stuck with me. The dream felt too real, like it meant something. And I couldn't shake that feeling. So I decided to look him up. I couldn't find much about him online, so I searched for his mom. She was easier to find since she was a real estate agent, and we happened to share the same last name. I found her number and actually called her. When she answered, I said, "Hi. I don't know if you remember me, but I used to know your son Jay. I'm calling because I had a dream about him. How is he doing?" There was a long pause, and then she told me Jay had passed away. He had died in July of 2005, and I'd had that dream around October of 2005, or maybe 2006. Apparently, he'd been born with a heart condition and passed away in his car on the side of the road after feeling unwell. I was speechless. I remember just sitting there after the call completely stunned. I couldn't believe it. It still gives me chills thinking about it because in that dream he was trying so hard to get my attention. And it happened after he'd already passed away. part of me truly believes that on his that his way, yeah, sorry. Part of me truly believes that this was his way of truly reaching out. Maybe to say goodbye or make peace. I just wish I could have seen him one more time.
Hmm. That's sad, actually.
It is sad.
Yeah.
I like the story though because it reminds me of the Eileen dream that I shared on the
Mhm.
podcast before when I didn't know she had passed. We had been communicating via email and then I hadn't heard from her in a while. I had that dream of her hugging me
Mhm.
and you know, she I found it stuck with me just like that woman is saying. I had that same feeling and I was like, it's sticking with me, it's sticking with me. And I looked her up and I found out she was gone and I lost my mind. Like I
Yeah.
started sobbing uncontrollably. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you know, I think people do try to reach out and say goodbye. But
Yeah.
I love that he tried, you know?
Yeah. No, it was definitely a good story. It just made me sad.
I know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, talk about a worst fear though, as a mother
Mhm.
or a spouse or a friend, like, you know, somebody just like here one
Yeah.
minute, gone the next, like passes
Yeah.
in their car. You know, knock on wood, I never ever want to experience that. Um,
Yeah.
that is a horrible fear.
Yeah. We had, I think I've shared this story like on the air before, but we had a classmate of ours where um someone was making a joke about like they were calling attendance and they're like, they said names and stuff and he's like, "Oh, maybe he's dead." Some kid like shouted out
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that I like was a valuable lesson for me because like unfortunately the next day that student we found out did pass away and that person felt, horrible for saying something out of jest that just by coincidence happened to be true.
Yeah.
And so like it's one of those things that like I always like, you know, try to, not make jokes like that, right? Because like
Right.
that's the last thing that we want to happen. And but yeah, good story. Good story. So I have a couple Reddit stories too. So I'll start off with one of them
Okay.
right now. And
Fabulous.
what's up?
Oh, I said fabulous.
Fabulous. All right. This one's from Real Ghost Stories. And I like this. This person's name is Legitimate Ad 9753. So I think it's just an ad. It's not really a story.
Really
Whatever.
funny.
So my aunt passed away in the mid 90s from a brain tumor. I was in the third grade and it hit me particularly hard, partially because she was totally awesome and partially because she was the first adult who I was close to that died in my life. We traveled from my home in Maryland to Manitoba for the funeral. As a kid, my dad and I were always ones to keep waking up like we were still in our time zone, no matter where we were. Throw in the fact that we were fairly upset about a funeral, this meant we were up way earlier than anyone else in the house. My aunt and uncle's house was, as memory serves, a pretty amazing, modern for the time house. The kitchen and dining room were lofted over our huge open living room. And once you made it all the way to that lofted area, there was a smaller family room with a TV, and a more formal dining room, a galley kitchen, and a diner style banquet with a fish tank behind it. It was a rad house. As made my way up the stairs to the loft, I could hear the TV and found my dad was watching the very bad, very forgettable Boris and Natasha movie. This was the morning of the funeral and the day we were going to inter her ashes, so we weren't up for chatting that much. We watched the movie for a while, and then, as though everything was normal, my aunt poked her head in out of the kitchen and asked what we wanted for breakfast. I'd like to be very clear, nothing initially felt wrong at all. We didn't freak out. Not even a side-eye was exchanged. We just answered her and went back. She went back out of view and started making breakfast. I remember smelling bacon. I remember being on my knees in the banquet looking at the fish and then looking to my right and seeing her busily make breakfast for us in the kitchen. Eventually, I made my way back over to the couch, and around that time, more people started coming upstairs. Only then, when the next person came upstairs, did my dad and I look at each other in shock, as though a veil had suddenly been lifted. No bacon had ever been made, no mess in the kitchen, no nothing. My dad and I never really had the chance of that to talk about it, and it slowly just became a memory that filed away. Fast forward to college, where all of a sudden one night, All the details came rushing back to me. It seemed like a little suspect, so when I went home for Christmas, after my parents and I were wrapping up a nice dinner, I asked my dad, "Weird question, Dad. Did we see our aunt's ghost?" "Yes," and I don't want to talk about it. Based on my mom's look of shock and befuddlement, what? She was pretty clear he had never said anything to her either. That was it for a while, and you jump a few more years forward, he apparently did talk to my mom and one of their closest family friends. Apparently, the story was a huge relief to her and her daughter because, unbeknownst to us, a day or two before the funeral, her daughter had been at the mall, saw my aunt across a busy shopping crowd. She smiled and waved to her, and then she inexplicably vanished into the hubbub. We still don't talk about it much. I think it upsets and nerves my dad for valid reasons, but I was happy to know that I hadn't made it up, and although it was odd, it was a nice memory of her.
I mean, if you have to see a ghost, at least they like want to make you food.
Right? Goes back to like your cleaning ghosts in the previous episode. Like,
Yeah,
you know, if we're gonna have a ghost in a house, I want it to be cleaning like up stuff and being productive. I like productive
right.
ghosts, and I love
Yeah.
bacon. So like
Yeah,
everybody loves
make
bacon.
bacon, ghost bacon.
Mm,
Oh man, where do you get ghost bacon?
I don't know, but like honestly, that would be like the worst part of it for me. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to this memory, but I'm like, oh great, I thought we were gonna have bacon, but now we have no bacon. Who's gonna
Right.
make the bacon?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
smelled bacon
I
and now
smell
there's no bacon.
I definitely smell
Oh,
a pork product of some type. I just went back into Wayne's World.
so,
Hey Wayne, you smell bacon?
that's so funny.
Yeah. So,
Um, yeah, I like that story though. I like that the aunt was like, "Hey, I'm okay. I'm still here
mhm.
hanging out and I still want to like, love on you guys and take care of
Yeah. Yeah. It was another kind of like sad but kind of heartwarming story. Kind of like we've had this theme the last couple of episodes, I feel like, where we have ghosts kind of letting people know that they're okay or, crossing
you."
over, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. You gonna tell another one?
Sure, I can do another one. This one's a little weird. Also
A
from
little weird.
yeah, a little weird. It's like me. This is also from Real Ghost Stories, from Purple Fire, but it's purple spelled with Pyr. So here, Py,
Powerful.
yeah, Purple. It's like Purple Fire,
Purple fire.
Purple Fire. All right. So, um, I made a homemade Ouija board and opened the door for something. When I was in high school, back in 2009, me and a friend of mine, Chance, decided to create our own Ouija board and use it to prove that there's no such thing as the supernatural. We wrote and drew on a sheet of paper, printer paper, turned out the lights in my bacon. Back to that other story. Sorry, folks. We
Turn
wrote,
off the
turned
bacon.
off our bacon.
Not
I
bacon.
really am hungry.
I
All right.
think you have bacon.
Yeah, we need some bacon. Where's that ghost? All right, back to the story. And turned out the lights in my basement, lit a candle, and used a tuning to track responses. We started simply by asking if everything was present, to which we got a yes. We then asked for name and age, and the entity replied Z7. Now, I don't know what unit it was using for measuring age, but that wasn't the ghost of some 7-year-old child. The entity told us that it was a demon, but it did not answer when we asked what business it had here. I was fairly certain that Chance was moving the coin around to mess with me, so I asked the entity to prove itself. The candle went out immediately, and my right arm lost all feeling. I ran to turn the light on, and we stopped with the board immediately, not saying another word about what happened for a couple weeks. My arm regained some level of feeling, but I still couldn't feel pain in it for almost 2 years afterwards. Over the next year, there were odd happenings in the basement where I spent most of my time. I would hear footsteps running up and down the stairs when no one was there. I would feel tapping on my back of my head from some time to time. Strange as it may sound, I grew used to it, and it stopped bothering me. After I stopped reacting to the sounds and taps, things escalated. Tapping became slapping, followed by laughter and running footsteps. The entity began following me to my bedroom at night, and I'd feel a presence as I fell asleep. It didn't seem altogether malicious, more just obnoxious. I thought that maybe it was really a mere 7-year-old and just a prankster. Then things got real. One night I awoke with a case of sleep paralysis. It was the first and only time it had ever happened, but it was absolutely horrifying under the best of circumstances. From my angle, I could see my mirrored closet door, and standing wall mirror in the reflection of that, I saw a shadow standing over me, just watching at first. When it realized I was awake, it walked to the foot of the bed, leaned over me, and grabbed my knees. It squeezed hard. I could feel nails or claws or something digging into them painfully. After what felt like hours, it released me and walked back into the mirror, shrinking quickly. Then came out the laughter, maniacal and inhuman. It laughed so loud, I felt like the room shook with it. The entity then turned to the reflection of the other mirror, walked into it, and disappeared. The reflection rippled like a pool of water, and the paralysis ended. I jumped out of bed, grabbed the mirror off the wall, and took it outside. I had to get rid of the thing, so I smashed the mirror in a street side garbage can. The entity I felt was banished with the smashing of the mirror, and my arm exploded with pain. The arm that I could not feel pain in exploded with pain. It went bad inside, limping from the pain that lingered in my knees, and lay down in the bed until morning came. I have scars on my knees from that entity's grip, but I have full use of my arm again, and there's been no visits from any otherworldly entities since. Don't mess around with a Ouija board.
Yeah, I agree. Don't mess around with the Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, wow, physical ailments and scars on your knees from it squeezing hard. What is
Yeah.
that like?
Well, I guess they said nails or claws were
Oh,
digging
the
in.
claws.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's true. Huh, that's absolutely terrifying. I don't even like to think I don't like to think about that.
No,
Um,
we
huh.
haven't had too many mirror stories. Like
No.
I know that like that's like kind of like clowns. A lot of people are afraid of mirrors and what they can, do, trap, bring you into. There's that movie, Look Away. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever seen that.
No.
Um,
I
that's
refuse.
a really good movie, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Um, so, but I won't give it away just in case you do
No, don't
watch
give
it.
it away. But yeah, the story that I have really happened. And it's interesting that you brought up a mirror. So
Mhm.
um yeah, so I guess without further ado, I'll get
Yeah.
into mine. So this happened to me a few weeks ago, and I was for listeners that don't know, I'm a real estate agent, and I promise I'm not weird in real life. I stick to real estate. Um,
You keep it real in these
yeah, when it's
states.
real estate, it's real estate. However, sometimes people, I tend to think that the universe just kind of aligns people,
Mhm.
or maybe I have something in me that people just tell me things. Um, I don't know why, but I tend to think it's like energy attracting energy. Um, so I had someone shadowing me, and I didn't really know this person well, but they were shadowing me in a professional way. And
Mhm.
I let them come with me to an open house to shadow me. And uh, they came with me to this open house. This house was perfect. This house was beautiful. In a very popular school district, this house was very move-in ready.
Mhm.
And I was getting nobody through the door at that open house, and I could
Jeez.
not figure out why. I mean, like I spent so much money advertising this house
Mhm.
too, like put it everywhere. It was in Zagpad on the mall, it was in social media, it was everywhere.
Mhm.
Because it was a beautiful house. Um, and nobody came to that open house. I had one couple through for the
Mhm.
entire,
That's
think I did it
crazy.
for 2 hours. I couldn't believe it, especially
Mhm.
in this market.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, our market is still very, very busy. If you live in
Mhm.
another place in the country where things are slowing down, it is not necessarily slowing down here in Rochester, New York. I digress. There's a point to this.
Mhm.
I couldn't figure it out. So myself and it was a woman, so I'll say it's a
Mhm.
woman because it will matter. Myself and this woman were talking, and I'm like, I can't believe this is so slow. And then we had like conversations because when things are going slow and you're just there with
Yeah.
another person. Um, And she said, I really, um, I'm I'm excited to start this path, and I think we're gonna move soon too. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know her family. I said, who's
Yeah.
we? She said, I have a daughter and a son. She said, my daughter actually hates the house we're living in right now. I rent it. And I said, oh, why? Like, and
Mhm.
and I thought it might be because, she didn't like her school or something
Right.
because she had switched schools, I guess. Like this had all happened all in this conversation. Um, and she said, oh, no, it's not that she doesn't like the school. She actually likes it, a lot now. It's that my house is haunted. And she said it with a question mark. And
Yeah.
I'm like, is it haunted or is it haunted?
Yeah.
Um, and she was like, it's haunted. And then I
Mhm.
said, okay, tell me more. And then obviously I let her know that I have this
Yeah.
podcast and like I can connect
Mhm.
to,
Clearly, you
the other
don't know who
side.
you're speaking to.
I just wanted to let her know, like, safe
Yeah.
space, tell me what's
Yeah.
going on. And it dawned on me in that moment why my open house was dead.
Mhm.
And it was because the universe had aligned, spirit had aligned this so I
Mhm.
could help her. Because I don't interact with her any
Yeah.
other way. Like this was literally
Yeah.
just a one-time thing. And I was like, if people had been coming in this whole time, I never would have been able to help her. She wouldn't have been able to
Sure.
say anything. So I was like, oh, I'm being asked to connect for her.
Mhm.
So I did. Um, so she said that her daughter was being like, she wouldn't sleep in her own room. She would
Mhm.
only sleep in the living room. And she said that the house was actually um, featured on a show. I won't say what show, but a
Okay.
show about ghosts. And she was like, I didn't know that when I moved in. I had no
Mhm.
idea. She said that windows were opening and closing without being like touched. Her dog was standing in the hallway upstairs and a door was open. And she said, and I know the door was open because he was staring in the room. And I was like, don't you go in there. Don't you go in
Mhm.
there. And then she was folding her laundry in her room. She came back out and the door was shut and locked. Like she
Mhm.
couldn't get in. And then the dog, I think that's what she said, that she couldn't get in. And
Mhm.
then the dog was like, I think the dog was like not there anymore, went downstairs or something, like
Mhm.
wasn't there because like whatever it was he was looking at was gone.
Mhm.
Um, and then she said like she would literally like in her own bedroom walk in her room, it's cold or it's raining, and the windows are open. And
That's
she's like, I
crazy.
wouldn't open a window when it's raining.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
But her daughter was being touched in her room, like um, always feeling watched, like not good feelings. And so I focused on the daughter's room and she had said, well, there was a man there too that had died, a previous man who died in his old age. He was sick and died, and then he had a wife who also died, or no, excuse me, who left. I don't think she died. She had left when he died. And without thinking, I said, yeah, but he died in the living room. And your daughter sleeps in the living room. So it's not him bothering her. It's not him. And she was like, he did die in the living room. How did you know that?
Jeez.
I didn't know. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh. So I tune into this daughter's room and I see this woman come through. And she looked like, I keep calling her like Goody Prudence. Like, I don't know how else to describe this woman,
Mhm.
but like the pilgrim hats, the
Yeah.
white
Mhm.
women's, the short white, like
Yeah.
maids hats, but pilgrim hats. Um, she was wearing one of those and she's wearing a brown dress with like a cream apron. And I don't think that this is what this woman actually looked like in life, but I could be wrong, but she was
Mhm.
old. She was
Mhm.
old when she died. Like, but I mean like old for her time, because I feel like she died like a long time ago. Um, but I don't necessarily know if she dressed in that kind of garb.
Sure.
What I learned was that like that's my symbol for a zealot,
Mhm.
someone who thinks that like their, religion is all end all be all. It is all that is, important in life and
Yeah.
apparently in death. And the woman came through and said, well, I was summoned. I was summoned.
Mm,
And I was like, why are you bothering her? And I do all
mm.
this in my head, right? I'm not
Yeah.
acting crazy in front of the lady. Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking her in my head, I'm like, why are you bothering her? What is going on? And she goes, she has rainbow hair. Rainbow hair. It's pink. It's pink. It's pink.
Mm,
Pink hair. Pink hair. Again, I don't know this woman from
yeah.
Adam. Like, I do not know this woman that's shadowing me.
Mm,
I I had like one interaction with her beforehand. I didn't know she had a daughter. Had no clue. Um, and I asked her, I said, and I was so afraid of being wrong too. Like, I
right.
don't know why I was afraid of being wrong, but I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't want her to think I'm crazy. I think that's why. But
Yeah.
I was like, did, does your daughter have pink hair? And she starts laughing. And
Mm,
I'm like, I hear rainbow hair, always changing, pink hair, pink hair, pink hair. And she's incensed by this. She's so mad about
right.
it. This zealot, she's so
Mm,
mad. And she pulls up her phone and she shows me a picture of her daughter, and she has pink hair. And then she swipes it and she has pink and gold hair. And
yeah.
she swipes it and she has pink and purple hair. Always pink, but
Yeah.
like with different colors.
Different colors.
And she has rainbow hair. And I have a rainbow in my hair right. Can you see
Yeah, I
this?
see it. It's great.
So funny. I have a rainbow in
Yeah.
my hair right now.
Yeah. You're like,
But I'm a rainbow hair.
yeah.
So the lady was like so mad about this. So that's what she lived a long time ago. So I can see that, it's not proper. It's not of God, right? Like
Yeah.
it's look at me, it's attention seeking. And this woman
Mm,
was very much a like brown dress, like
sure.
rough wool.
Plain everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And it made her mad. And I
Mm,
said, "Why are you bothering this kid? Like, you're not alive. Like, what's the harm of her dyeing her hair? Who cares? It's not of God. It's not of God." I'm like, "You're dead. Go
yeah.
to be with God. Like, what? You're
Yeah.
dead. You don't have to be here. I was summoned. I was summoned." And I look at this woman and I say, "She's telling me she was summoned. Like, was she?" And I was about to say, like, was she playing with the Ouija board? Was she doing something? And she goes, she was doing something with the mirror, like mirror
Oh,
scrying.
jeez.
And here's the mirror thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, aha, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, especially as a teenager. And the kids are curious, right? I did this when I was 10. I played with the Ouija board and a lot of weird shit happened. And I was like, never again, right? Ever.
Mm,
But so the whole thing was just very strange. But the woman said like there's more to this story, and like there's some other entities involved. But this woman, I have a feeling, I think I was able to send her on to the light.
mm,
I have to check back in with this woman,
mm.
but I feel weird feel weird
Yeah.
doing that. Like, how's your ghost issue?
Yeah.
Also, when you want to shadow me again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but but it all worked out in that way so I could help her. And I think I helped that ghost, that woman,
Yeah.
because she was showing me at the end, like I kept, this will sound funny. I kept in contact with that ghost to after. I brought her to after the
Hmm.
open house so I could be alone. And I was talking to her and she showed me her Bible. It was a little black Bible with a big gold cross on it, like a thin gold cross, but like large as the Bible. And she was like saying, like, it's my job in death to help people stay away from these demonic things, like
Oh,
mirror scrying, the Ouija board.
yeah.
She was being a guardian, but in the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Scaring the crap out of somebody.
Yeah, and touching someone and
Scared
doing things like,
straight.
but it's those
Yeah.
misguided. I mean, there are misguided alive people,
Yeah.
like, um, it's that misguidedness. And so I told her, I was like, God was so important to you in life. Go get your reward.
Yeah.
Go be with God. Like that, if that's heaven to you, go be with God. And I didn't feel her after that anymore, but I
Hmm.
like there was more to it. Like I explained it to her, like you don't have to be here. This isn't your job. You
Yeah.
don't have to do this. You're okay. Go. But as soon as I remember saying, like, as soon as I said, be with God,
Yeah.
go with God, she was gone. And I was like, all right, cool. But
Yeah.
would I have thought I was totally insane and nuts? if the pink hair thing would have didn't happen, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would have been like, I'm crazy. Like I need to be on meds. I don't know what's happening. But every time I do a reading, every time I connect to the other side, they give me that kind of validation. So I know that I'm actually helping or doing. And I think that that's why the more I do with it, the more I love it because it
Hmm.
helps people. And that makes me so happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love for you to like do do that check in at some point and kind of figure out if things are better and then kind of report back to us and say, yeah, it worked or whatever. I would love to hear that. Kind of remind me a little bit of a that I've shared this story very early on in the podcast about how I went house looking in central New York and I had a really bad feeling about a house and then I saw it on TV as one
Yeah,
of the
that one. Yeah,
houses.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that kind of like brought me back to that.
Yeah.
But
I
but
mean, she said
yeah.
like she loves the house otherwise. Her landlord is
Yeah.
amazing. Like everything else is so positive.
Yeah.
But it was just not, also I knew that guy died in the living room. I don't know
Yeah.
how I knew that.
Dang.
But I saw him in a medical bed in the
Hmm.
living room
Yeah.
dying. And I was like, oh, but he wasn't bothering her. And I think he
Yeah.
moved on. It was just strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. And I mean, I'm sure people listening to this are like, that's bull. But
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'll check
But
in
it
and
isn't. Yeah. Let us know
yeah,
what happens. But I
yeah.
think it's kind of about that time.
It is. It is that time. So because of spooky season, whether it's pumpkin spice or ghosts, keep your spirits up.